What's up, everybody? Going to shoot a quick training to show you where you might be stuck at in your business. Okay, so this is a framework. I learned this about 4 years ago, and it really helped me simplify and diagnose the various parts of a business. So usually I have my iPad with a little pen, and I can draw this out all fancy, but I'm here in an Airbnb in Dubai, so I'm going to draw it out for you. All right, so let's just get right into this. Bam. So we have 5 parts to every business. Now, here's the thing. Most people think I just need more leads. I just need to close more. I need to systemize my delivery. But let's look at what you actually need. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, and then 4. So first part of this, if you think of it like a pipeline, is lead generation. Okay. This is important. You need fresh people coming into your ecosystem so that you can sell stuff. This is where most people think, oh, I just need the leads. I just need the leads. Well, I'm here to tell you that you probably already have enough leads. If anything, you're just not working them properly. You're not nurturing them. So the second piece is lead nurture. Getting people to show up to your calls is one. So I'm going to take a little tangent here. I consider the sales process kind of like we think of like an American football field. Here is a person who's completely cold to you, right? This is going to look horrible. So let me actually just write this out. So left side, they're completely cold. Over here, they're sold. They're new clients. So a lot of people are trying to get all of they're trying to take a bridge too far. Okay. So here we have conversion. I'm going to call it conversion because it's not just sales, but it's like, how are you getting people to give you their money? Some people do webinars. Some people do sell by chat, like selling over the DMs, over text. A lot of people still do sales calls. Sales calls are efficient, obviously. But let me just finish this. So we have delivering the service, fulfilling the promise of the reason why they're working with you. And then there's back end. Call it back end for short, but it's really like retention, retaining people longer, getting referrals, upselling, things of that nature, right? So if you ask yourself, okay, most of my leads are where? Well, here's how I break this up. Up here in the sales process, let me see if I can scroll this up a bit. No, I can't. It's annoying. So there's actually multiple pieces. So a lot of people, that they try to take someone who's never heard of them before and get them to buy. Okay. So if we think of lead generation, lead nurture, conversion as taking someone from cold to you to warm to hot, to where they're booking a call and buying, or they're entering your sales process and buying. Lead nurture is usually the piece that most people miss. The other part of lead nurture is not just getting people to trust you and stuff and show up to your call, but this is huge. If we think about it, this comes from kind of Jordan Belfort. He talks about the 3 10s. There's they got to be a 10 out of 10 on you. Like, I trust you. I like you. 10 out of 10 on your process or unique mechanism. If you're familiar with the marketing copywriting world, like how you get them results, right? It has to be unique enough where they're like, oh, I want to work with Ben, not just because he can help me sell, but because he's really good at helping me pre-sell my leads, or he's really good at helping me frame and whatever. Okay. And then 10 out of 10 on your offer. So these are the 3 10s that a lead nurture process, basically it's a function of it. Okay. So there's 2 things here. Number 1, like in terms of things that we track, to run down the list a bit. I wonder if I can zoom out. This is so much cleaner on my iPad. Anyway, to run down the list of the metrics that we track, from lead generation to lead nurture to conversion to back end to delivery. What are some of the main ones? Well, there's a lot, but there's. Okay, one sec. Move my little icon here. So, what are some of the main ones? Well, leads, kind of like whatever, could be opt-ins or follows if you're running ads to follow you on Instagram, for example, which is very effective. Not the best metric. We have calls booked. Calls booked, show rate, offer rate, how many people get an offer if they jump on your call. Close rate. We have cash collected, revenue contracted. I'm obviously cutting into the other thing here, so let me shrink this a bit. I can't. It's so annoying. All right, let me blow this up. Oh, I'll just do this. There's a lot more than this, but these are the main ones. You can do like cash collected as a percentage of the revenue contracted. You can do all kinds of things, but in terms of just pure metrics that we can look at, these will help us kind of figure out which piece is broken. Up until the conversion, there's like different metrics for delivery. There's different metrics for back end stuff. This is basically like the long-term value. But yeah, to go back to this example up here, there's this, my little face is in the way. There we go. Okay, so there's stages, right? So there are people that go through stages to go from cold to I know who you are to like I want to work with you. So it's kind of like we're moving the ball down the football field through our process. So someone who's completely cold, I have no idea who you are. Suddenly the first part of them being warm, what makes them warm? Well, if they raise their hand, they say, hey, I'm interested. Or if they're in your target market and they know who you are. Okay. And then there's hot. Hot is like they've expressed interest. Okay. Not just like, hey, you work with plumbers. Yeah. Now you have a group of people who have consumed a lead magnet to help them, I don't know, grow their plumbing business. But they've explicitly said, hey, I'm interested in your offer. I'm interested in getting this result. Okay. So from here, the next stage would be typically booking a call. Call booked. If we have an appointment setter in here, we're going to be looking at what are the metrics that they can be tracking, like how many conversations are they starting with like warm people, how many people are like raising their hand saying I'm interested. So that's going to affect, like, that's going to basically show us how good our marketing is. Are we generating the right leads? Are we targeting the right pain points? From call booked, the next stage, you can kind of combine these, but I would typically make it like offer made. Well, before these, they would have to show up. So technically that's the next one. Put this guy back down here. So they have to show up. You have to make an offer. And then really there's a few more steps. So I might extend this a bit. Oops. Because what happens? Not everyone buys after they jump on a sales call. If they did, that'd be awesome. But a lot of the times it goes to follow up. Okay. So my buddy, I learned this from the guy who made Pepper, Franco. He calls it the 5-yard line. I love that analogy because as you'll see, all this affects how we work our leads, which is another part of lead nurture. We've got to constantly work our leads and move them down the football field. All right. So the 5-yard line, there's there. The final thing, it ends with them being clients. Sometimes they go into either nurture, or you can just call this long-term follow-up, which is, I would call it anything 30 days and beyond is like nurture / long-term follow-up. You just want to keep providing them value. 5-yard line is the people that are ready to buy. So what is the point of all this? And how does this connect to this? Well, most people, they're good at generating leads. They can get people to know who they are. They might be great at sales calls, but the process that they're missing is a way to consistently work their leads better, right? If you get 100 leads, 15 of them are, no, let's say 50 of them are qualified. And then I don't know, let's say you book a call with 25 of them for some reason. The other ones just kind of disappear. Well, 25 calls, your closing rate, let's say it's horrible. It's, I don't know, 10% or 20%. Let's say you're average at closing. So 1 out of 5 say yes, that's 5 sales. Well, the opportunity is where? So we had 100 leads total. If 50 of them are qualified, like maybe we have to look at our marketing to see how can we get maybe closer to 100, which would help. But really looking at the 50 that are qualified, how come 25 of them didn't book a call? Well, it's because we're missing the lead nurture piece. Okay. And then with the closing aspect, you're closing 20%. That's okay. I've seen people close as high as 80%, 70%. Anything around 40 is what I would be aiming for. Anything that is below that, it's either we're lacking the skills, maybe there's a problem with our offer, or more likely we're talking to the wrong people, which again goes back to the marketing, which is what's creating the leads. But guys, I just really wanted to illustrate that a lot of people just don't understand that there's a piece between lead generation and sales. Okay. And nailing the lead nurture piece is what's going to actually scale your sales up a lot more. So if you can get people that are coming to your call, they're pre-qualified, they're predisposed to working with you, they like you, they know who you are, and they are pre-sold on your process, okay, we're really checking off at least 2 of these 3 here, so that the only thing that's left to do is to get them sold on your offer, right? That makes your sales so much easier. You don't have to educate people. You don't have to convince them of why your way is better. Like they're already basically showing up knowing what you're all about, how it works, why it's better than everything else they've tried. And if they believe that, that's always the first sale you have to make. Well, number 1 is getting them to commit to change, but that's different. Number 2 is sold on your process. And number 3 is sold on your offer. So this alone, having assets in place, which are going to check off these boxes, I just call this in general lead nurture or pre-selling, pre-selling assets. This is what's going to make your sales easy. So you're going to get more leads, people raising their hands saying, I want to work with you. We follow up with people better if we look at this sales process here, knowing that somebody, like the farther away they are from the touchdown line, if they're cold, the more work we have to do to move them to become a new client, right? But what do most people focus on? They focus on lead generation. They focus on cold DMing and cold emailing stuff. Like they just try to get more and more and more and more. Versus if we're smart with our time, somebody who's already been on the phone with you, they've gone through your content, your pre-selling assets, they're at the 5-yard line, they just have to say yes. It's way more worth our time to follow up with those people versus someone who's completely cold. It's way worth our time to follow up with someone you've spoken to a month ago. They still kind of remember you, you've already spoken to them, like someone in this nurture category. Way more worth it for you to speak with them than someone who's cold, right? And then basically what we do is we work backwards. I would go, okay, let me hit up all the people I've spoken to. First of all, at the 5-yard line, because these guys are recency, right? We want to talk to these guys, and we talk to the people that we haven't made an offer to, like somewhere between them showing up and then them buying. We want to hit up these guys, if we send a call booking link or we invited them to a call, but they didn't book yet, we want to hit up these guys because they're way warmer. If we, from there, it's like we wanted to go and talk to all the people that are hot. They said they're interested, but we just haven't gotten to the point where we sell them on the call to talk to us. We want to talk to those guys. And we want to talk to the people that are warm leads, people that are following us, they know who we are, they're in our target market. We want to take those guys from warm to hot, getting them to say, yeah, I'm actually interested in this, right? And then finally, when you run out of all the leads, then you go to the cold people who are outside of, outside of the realm of people who know who you are and what you do. So yeah, hopefully this gives you some clarity on the sales process. And specifically, if you want help in these two areas, all right, my areas of focus are the lead nurture and then the conversion, obviously. So if you want help with these two pieces, shoot me a DM. Be happy to walk you through some of the stuff that we can do. There's a lot of different things we can do to pre-sell people. There's a lot of different assets we can make to do so, right? So for example, we can have a micro webinar. We can do, this can go into a few things. I won't really break it down. We can do retargeting ads, follow-up emails, just different trainings. There's this sequentially creating trainings based on their biggest pain points and objectives or objections. Sorry, that's a great idea to nurture people. And then just having follow-up. What's the word? I would say follow-up sequences, but really just having a strong follow-up cadence, follow-up sequences or cadence, right? These are all some things we can do to just get more out of the leads that you have now. So on top of that, we can look at your lead generation. I made one tweak to this guy's his opt-in page, just to his headline. I said, okay, what if we did a different angle and his opt-in percentage went from 1% to 10%, which is a big difference. It's an enormous amount of money he's going to make just from literally changing a headline. So anyway, if you want help with any of this stuff, shoot me a DM, mention pre-selling, and we'll talk to you about it. All right. See you guys later.